All right. So tonight's topic, let's get started here. We're going to be talking about business building, right? And this is a bunch of different topics. This webinar is actually going to cover, let me see here, just a few different things. We're going to be going over recruiting salespeople, training, motivating salespeople, exactly how should you do that? What are some good best practices there? We're going to talk about partnerships. Partnerships a big part of landing big deals. I just wrote a big piece on whale hunting, going after mega deals and how partnerships are kind of instrumental to that usually. And of course, partnerships are just something that's fantastic when you're talking about doing local marketing, selling at the local level. It's very, very important to build as many partnerships as you can. And of two types, channel partners, people where, you might utilize their services, but they're going to sell yours. And then, of course, affiliate marketing, which is, basically referrals, or AKA referral marketing, where basically they sort of steer people towards your agency. Then we're going to talk about activities and developing a good action plan, because this is something that I think a lot of people could do a little bit better at. Now, let's talk about recruiting salespeople. Big, important topic, something that is, very important when it comes to your business. A lot of people ask me, I always get, whenever I bring up a sales force, people say, oh, Jake says I have to have a sales force. I have to have one. You don't have to have a sales force. You don't have to have a business. You don't even have to have a job. There are people who live under bridges out there, right? You could do anything you want. But if you are in this business, and if you look at Rocket Driver 3.0, we've designed this around giving you the advantage, right? The ability to very, very seamlessly build yourself a sales force, where, you have a CRM system right there at your disposal. We'll input the reps. You don't even have to input the reps. Just hit support with their name, phone number, email, and a few, any particulars, and we'll set their account up. We'll get them ready for you. And all you have to do is input leads as you get them. When you're out there prospecting, put your leads in there, have them work their leads. They can input them, whatever you want. There's a lot of major, major advantages to running a sales force, right? The main advantage is more money, because it's like a force multiplier, right? It's like the difference between going out there and, shooting an old bolt action rifle and going out there with a tank. It's that much more powerful when you're in this industry to have multiple people. And I've written things through the years, and I've researched, and I've done a lot of stuff when it comes to, building yourself a sales force. I've made the argument that less is more, that more is more, that you could have an in-house sales force, remote. Really, guys, it's always a unique situation to you and your business, where you decide to recruit from, how you decide to onboard people, how you decide to work with the people that you do onboard. And it's going to boil down to your situation. If you're in a situation where, you can only devote, let's say, 5 or 10 hours a week, let's say, to your business, say that it's that situation, which is pretty rare, but let's say it was, then a sales force probably doesn't make much sense. But if you're somebody who's going out there and you're prospecting yourself and you're working leads and you're doing this yourself, you might consider bringing on some reps. They don't have to be local to your, to your town or state even. You can put salespeople on from anywhere. But the point is to get them into your system. And if they're productive, if they're going out there and they're productively doing their job, it's a huge asset, right? That's a force multiplier. It makes you much more efficient. It saves you a huge amount of time. And time is money. That's the main thing. That's what it's really all about. There are multiple ways to run a sales force. You can run a sales force so inefficiently that it actually costs you time and money. But if you run it, if you stick to what you need to do, running a sales force can be very, very beneficial. And lastly, it's motivational. And I know this sounds a little bit kind of corny, maybe cheesy, I don't know. But when you have a sales force, and I found this myself, when you have a bunch of people that are showing up every day and they're there to make money and they're looking to make sales, and you're chatting with them online, you're working together, it's very motivational. It gives you a group of people. It gives you some peer pressure in a good way, right? It gives you some people that want you to succeed. They want to make sales. They want things to go well. So it can be motivational as well. Now, let's go through this, and we're going to talk a little bit about each step here. But the first one is recruiting. And lots of people, when it comes to recruiting, they're lost, right? If you haven't done this before, this can be intimidating to you. And I understand that. I respect that. But recruiting is such a simple task, right? It's like riding a bicycle. Once you learn how, you forever look back at yourself when you're a little kid and go, geez, look where I was, look where I am, because it's such a simple task. It becomes second nature. And recruiting is the same way. Recruiting is not one of these things that, takes a million brain cells, right? It's pretty straightforward. And there's a lot of places that you can go ahead and you can post ads. There's lots of venues out there that you can utilize to go ahead and, to recruit salespeople. First, I threw together an ad hoc list because this is just a list that came off the top of my head. There's many more lists out there. And depending where you're located, there's a lot of unique regional ads places that you can place ads, like classifieds in newspapers and stuff like that, bulletin boards. But Craigslist, many of us, it's still free to post an ad in many regions of the country on Craigslist. Facebook has Facebook local groups and all that. You can go there. You can recruit off of that. LinkedIn, right, of course, and flyers. You can put flyers up that you're recruiting for salespeople. You can put them in job offices and so on. And of course, there's organizations that are out there that you can recruit from as well. There's organizations like, I brought them up multiple times in the past, SCORE, Senior Corps of Retired Executives. You can go to an organization like that. There's a lot of retired executives that might want to do sales part-time, right? And it could be perfect for them. Of course, there's the mega sites, Indeed, Monster, et cetera. If you really want to pay and put an ad up there, you can utilize it. What's really important, and I've always get questions on this about, well, how should my ad read? What should it look like? Can you give me an ad? And the truth is, it's such a mundane, simple task to write yourself an ad. It's literally just, company looking for salespeople to sell digital services. Put it up, just tap it out, and let them know in there it says commission only, 1099 type of situation, right? Where, you're not paying an hourly wage to somebody to go sell for you. You're paying them on commission. They make a sale, you pay them. All right. Okay. Interviewing and hiring. Now, this is another area where, this is very, very important that you get rid of any fear you have of the phone. The last person you ever want to show fear to is somebody that you're looking to recruit to work for your business. Very important that you keep in mind, right? You're putting up a commission-only job, right? You're putting something out there that says this is commission only. That person is gambling, literally gambling with their time that they're going to make money with you. They've got to have confidence in you, in your business, and your services in order for them to make that gamble with confidence, because they're not coming to work and regardless, they're walking home with money in their pocket. They're coming to work, and although it's going to be remote and online, still they're investing their time in your business. So they want to know that, you're serious. You've got to show confidence. You have to be confident about that. It starts with just hopping on the phone, giving them a phone call, right? First thing I always do, I've been through this, and I was through this not too long ago with somebody on the phone. How should I recruit reps? Should I email them back? I would say no. When someone responds to an ad and they give me the resume, right? I don't put much stock in the resume, to be honest with you guys. And I know some people will disagree with me. They'll say, oh, the resume is very important and how they write it. But no, because the resume is even in our culture, in our society, has become such a mulled over, cultivated, just a lie-soaked rag of piss is basically what it is, right? That's what a resume is, because it reflects a person's best side, and it reflects it completely disingenuously. So I take the resume when it comes to a salesperson, and I just throw that thing in the garbage can, and I say, I want to call and I want to hear what this person sounds like. I want to talk to this person. I'm going to ask them probing questions, right? I want to get on the phone with them and say, what's going on? How's it going out there? I want to learn what their backstory was. I want to hear how they respond to me. How do they speak? Are they well-spoken? Are they very crass and vulgar? What kind of a person is this? Because the more I learn about them in terms of how they behave on the phone with me, I'm thinking in my head, that's how they're going to behave to my prospects and when they represent my company. So, a resume anyone can put anything on the resume. That resume is as honest as I am willing to research the data in it. And I'm not willing to spend one penny to research the data in somebody's resume for a commission sales position. Now, if this was if I was the hiring director at a hospital and I'm recruiting for a pediatrician, well, we'll probably spend a couple $1,000,000 and we'll know everything about this person. But this position, no, you're not going to do that. It's a commission sales job. So you handle it as such. You have to do this a lot more intuitively, right? Listen to what they say. That's a huge part of it, guys, is just listening and, figuring out what they're looking to do. Do they have the time? Do they have experience? But even if they don't have experience, it doesn't matter because you're going to get trained anyway, right? I always tell people is trust your gut. That's how I always ran my sales forces. I trusted my gut. I listened to the person. I gave it a good thinking over, and then I either pulled the trigger on hiring them or not, right? It was just that simple. And I didn't do it scientifically. I never looked at it that way. I don't think it's a scientific process. Sales is kind of something that is a mixture of fortitude, determination with intelligence, with, acculturation, and so many things are involved in it that you really have to look at it from that perspective that this is something that, we need to cultivate and to grow into. Now, let's talk compensation. This is the next natural question. How should you compensate your salespeople? The first thing to consider here is the commission needs to be sustainable. It's the most important thing that I can stress here. It's that, I've dealt with people at both ends of the extremes, right? I've talked to folks that were looking at it like $50 was a high commission, or something ridiculous like that. And then I've seen other people that wanted to give away the house, right? That said, no, we're going to give them 50% of gross, and then we're going to give them 60% of monthly, and we're going to give them a bonus override. If they hit 5, they go up to 75, and they develop these almost look like Ponzi himself designed it, like a crazy mathematical structure. It doesn't have to be that complicated, right? The easiest way that you can put together a commission structure is say, hey, you're going to get X amount of the net profit of the deal, right? Keep it simple. The net profit of the deal, you're going to get X amount of net, not gross, net. You never want to give gross away. And the reason for that is not the bigger figure. Let's say someone comes to you and they have a website deal, and that website deal, and this will happen, Murphy's Law, if it can go wrong, it will. Let's say that website deal is $50,000, but the development cost on it is $30,000, right? Or maybe it's $45,000. I don't know. We're just going hypothetical here. If you gave them 25% of the gross profit, 25% of 50,000, right now, if the development cost is high enough, you actually don't make any money at all. You even lose money on the deal. So you can't ever do that. You have to always make it a percentage of net profit. And, that's just the way that it goes. It's the easiest way to do it. It's the way that I will recommend to everybody to do it. I don't advise you go and get involved in setting up like an old-fashioned par system of commissions or any of these, kind of exotic structures. Keep the math really easy to understand, really straightforward, and maybe have 2 tiers, right? Like I give you 20% for everything up to this dollar valuation, and everything beyond that, I'll give you 25% or maybe 30, so that, you give them that sliding scale so that you try to get them to reach for the stars and sell as much as possible. You always want to be incentivizing uphill. Commissions have got to always be fair. Don't give away the house. Really crucial point, guys, because lots of people have, and let me tell you, giving away the house is not a way to run a business. And you always have to be reasonable and be sane. I think that goes without saying, except you never know. Something really important, and I heard this saying a long time ago, so I put it in this presentation, which is that money keeps talent, but it usually doesn't bring talent. And what does that mean? Well, now, this is in reference specifically to sales. I think in a lot of industries, money will bring the talent. But in our industry, you get a person, you can put an ad out, and you can put, $50,000 base pay, and you can dress it all up. You're going to get whatever amount of responses. you're going to get the same amount of responses with half the money and the same amount with a quarter, right? There's always that sort of law of numbers. Money doesn't attract you better people responding. It just attracts people who notice money. But when you have a good sales force, when you put something together that's special at your business, when you have a sales guy, gal, group of people, whoever, that are really, they're hitting home runs, it's important to keep them happy at that point. It's important to recognize that if you reward them, you'll keep them, right? Because what happens a lot with great salespeople, something I've noticed, and I think a lot of people on this call have seen this, really good salespeople tend to work really, really, really hard, do really, really well, and then sort of go through their lulls, right? Where they burn out for a while and they walk away. They change industries a lot. Some of the best salespeople I've met had worked in they'd had like 30 jobs in their life. And you just shake your head and go, how could you do that? And it was because they would work really hard, sell a whole lot of something, and then just burn out and quit. And to avoid that, you try to get your salespeople into a sustainable position where they can go through their lull without having to quit, right? Because there's always going to happen. There's always that sort of bipolarity to sales talent. Now let's go through really quickly training your salespeople, right? And we've done most of the hard work when it comes to training salespeople. Very important point to make is that most of this training is already done. Inside the portal there, you have all the videos on, how to utilize the systems, services, you have closing techniques, you have all that stuff there for you. But this doesn't mean that you get off the hook completely, because we could use your help. And up here on the screen, you see it shows the Zoom little logo, and it shows the Skype logo, right? And it says training salespeople, a team effort. And indeed it is, right? If you're thinking that you could put on a sales force and then just sort of set it and forget it like an easy bake oven, that's not how it's going to work, right? Because those salespeople are reporting to you and to your business. Only you can run your agency. We can't run your agency for you. And that's not to say we don't do the best we can. We absolutely do. And like I've said, my line is open. Anybody who needs to get in touch with me can. We're very accessible here for a reason. We want you to be successful. But you've got to keep that in mind, that only you can handle you, right? Salespeople need daily guidance. They need to be guided and directed. They can't be allowed to just run loose, right? I mean, in a sense, they're contractors. They're going to do what they want. But in another sense, you know what I mean. If you don't, tap them on the shoulder and say, what are you doing today? Hey, how are you working your leads? Have you made calls? If you don't get in touch with them, they're going to kind of just do nothing, maybe do a lot, but you don't notice. It's not a good situation. So what we strongly advise you to, I absolutely advise you to do this, is to get in touch with your reps very routinely. And it's so easy these days to do so. There's just no excuse. I mean, you have Skype, right? Get yourself a Skype account, get your reps to all have Skype. You guys can have a group chat right there on Skype. You can get Zoom. The free version of Zoom has a 40-minute limit. It's completely free. And you can use Zoom. It's just zoom.us, where you can, go there, send out the link, have all your salespeople hop onto Zoom. It can be once a day. It can be once every other day. You have a meeting, you go over strategies, you talk, and you need to be available to do that. You have to be available. And if you're available and you're meeting with your reps and you're talking with them and you're going through things with them, you're going to be successful, right? Because you're doing what you're supposed to do. You have to be consistent about it. Absolutely. And last thing is about respect. And I think this is a really important one, which is you got to realize that these salespeople are going to respect you if they see that you know your stuff, that you've taken the time to go through training yourself, that you know what you're talking about, and that you're able to guide them. You're not going to be able to guide people if you know less than they know, right? It's almost like in the Army, right? Or any kind of organization, really. If the person that's supposed to lead knows less than the person that's supposed to follow, the whole chain breaks down, right? So make sure that you go through that and then demand respect. When you know more than them, don't let them tell you something. Listen to yourself only. Now, motivation is a big part of why I said, it's a good idea to get salespeople, right? It's very, it's something that I've just noticed it so often, and I've seen it in myself. I've seen it with other people, with organizations. Salespeople, having a good sales force tends to be motivational, right? It's almost like you take 10 good salespeople, break them apart. They're good salespeople, but put them together, and boy, you can get something really special going on. Motivation can be very reciprocal, right? It can go both ways. You have to motivate your sales force, but your sales force also motivates you. Now, what motivates people generally? Money, competition, fun. There's a bunch of other stuff there. But the point is, there are things that you can think of that motivate people. Right off the top of your head, there are things that you can right away name that motivate people to go and function in life and function in sales and function in business. Now, motivation comes in two forms, right? You have internal and you have external motivation. Internal motivation is like, the desire to make your boss happy, right? For example, or the desire to get yourself a new car or whatever. You're saying to yourself, I want to get a new car, so I'm going to work real hard and get it. External motivation is like a guy chasing you with a stick that's going to bash you in the head if you slow down, right? One is not a good form of motivation, right? I don't want a guy chasing me with a stick. Point is, you have to be, as a manager, you're external to your salesperson, but you can't use external motivation. That's always been the trick. If you want to be a great manager, talk to a salesperson about their dreams, their goals, and then help figure out a path there for them. Tell them, say you ask your sales rep, what's your dream this year? And they say, I want to go to Europe. You tell them, well, I'll send you to Europe. Get me $250,000 in sales and I'll send you there, right? Then you're fostering internal motivation. You're making a promise that if they hit some very high figure, you'll do something for them. That fosters internal motivation. Back on the phones, maggot. That's external motivation. That's not good, right? So, that demotivates. It causes fear, it causes feelings of derision, right? And so on. Share your vision. I've done this many times. You want to share your vision. You want to let salespeople know, look, if you do a good job here, you may become the sales manager someday. If you do great here, you may be here for years. This company is going to grow places and you're going to go with it. Enfranchise your salespeople. Make them feel like they're part of a team. And if you can get that team atmosphere going on, right? We call it a spirit de corps, right? Where you get a bunch of people and they all feel that they're part of a team. If you can do that, you're going to be that much more successful. It's just a part of fusing together all these different personalities that are working. Now, we're not working in a room where it's not as if we're, in the bowels of a ship that's chugging along together or something like that. But your salespeople, throughout their day are going to be working leads. One of the great things going back to those tools are like with Skype, you can have a group chat going where you put all your salespeople into the group chat and they can talk to one another. You can talk to them and you can foster that kind of environment. I'm not saying that it goes off topic and becomes a chat line that's filled with nonsense, but what it can be is a way to so that everybody feels that they're at work together, right? Gets that sense of we're at work and we're doing something together. It's important to do that. Now, I'm going to switch gears here, and I'm switching gears pretty hard, right? We're going sort of 80 miles an hour in the salesperson direction, and I'm going to jump to partnerships. And the reason I'm doing this is these are all kind of overlapping topics that all have a lot of interconnectivity and interrelation with one another. Partnerships, something that I've written quite a bit about, thought even more about than I wrote. And I think it's really important to talk to you guys more about because I've been going on about this for some time with some of you, but I really think I should go over this with all of you. All right, guys. Now, when it comes to partnerships, you've got local, state, national, global. That's the natural question. What kind of partnership? Is this a partnership online? Is this a partnership in my office? No, what we're really talking about, I think 90% of the time, partnerships are local, right? Because they have to be, in general, brokered in person. You can have remote partnerships, right? You can have certainly regional partnerships and statewide partnerships because you can meet with those people. Can you have a global partnership and stuff? Yeah, but it's just buzzwords, right? For most of us, not for everybody, for most of us, that's just buzzwords, right? That's just stuff that sounds good, but doesn't have a whole lot of meaning. When we're talking about partnerships, what we're talking about are channel and affiliate partnerships. Channel partnership is like you partnering with a print shop, and you're going to go because your agency doesn't do graphic design, right? Any of you on here, you're not doing graphic design right now. Maybe there's a print shop right uptown from you that does do graphics, but they don't do websites or omni-channel or business listings. So what you do is you essentially just agree to sell each other's products, to steer customers to each other. When you sell a website and it's to a restaurant and you notice they need new menus printed, you go and you push that print shop. When that print shop sells a car vehicle wrap to a trucking company, they go to you for the website. They push the website from you. That's a channel partnership, right? Each of you are pushing each other's products. Now, there's more technical definition of channel partnership. It could call it a referral partnership. You could call it all kinds of things. But essentially what it is two businesses agreeing to sell each other's products, right, in a joint manner. Then you have your affiliate partnerships, or again, you can call that referral partnership as well. Affiliate is where you have, say, a hairdresser, right, that's uptown from you, or you have a realtor, right, or you have some other kind of business, right? And what you do in those instances with those businesses is you tell them, hey, every single person you refer to me that closes, I'm going to give you X%. What they're like is a sort of a part-time salesperson, right? And that's exactly how you handle it. You just give them a commission. Essentially, this could be as simple as that. But the thing is, they're going to bring you leads, right? These two, if you just focused all your marketing efforts on these two things, on getting channel partnerships and getting affiliate partnerships, you'd probably be successful right there in and of itself. When you have people that are enfranchised and looking out for you and pushing you business, you can be very, very busy. You'd be stunned how easy it is. There's an enormous upside to using this method of marketing. And that upside is that, number one, you're not paying money out of pocket for any of your leads. Number two, you're not spending any time. Number three, they add up. If I've got 5 or 6 channel partners and I've got, I don't know, half a dozen to 2 dozen affiliate partners, I've got a force out there of, say 50 people that are all going around. When they bump into a website project, they push my stuff. Some of them might only give me a couple projects a year. Some might give me a couple projects a month. Some may give me one a week. You don't know. You can't know. And of course, with like anything else, there's a limit, right? You're not going to build the business on the back of a single hairdresser, but it's all about numbers, right? And there's a way to, go ahead and to approach this. So going back to channel partners, right? A lot of the times the way it works is your channel partners have the same customers that you do, but they're just doing something different for them, right? They're handling their print needs, or they're handling their real estate needs, or they could be in any industry that you can imagine being similar, or even an industry that's completely different, right? For example, you could have a restaurateur as a channel partner because they meet tons and tons of people in business around the town, the area, and therefore they know people that will be apt to become your customers. And they might be in a totally different line of work, but they may be able to refer you a lot of business that way. And you may be able to offer their services too. In the case like of a restaurant, you go ahead and you tell them, hey, all my customers that I get that are looking for hosting or catering, I'll, give them your card or whatever. You can form these relationships very loose. Keep that in mind. When it comes to being in this industry and having your business running, you play it loose in the sense of you're going ahead and you're, passing out cards and you're getting as many eyeballs in front of your name as possible. Broker whatever deal you can ultimately. You got to choose very strategically for your maximum benefit. This doesn't mean excluding anybody, but let's say that in your town, there's 3 print shops, right? And that they all compete with each other. Well, it wouldn't make sense really for you to partner with all 3 of them. And because if the other 2 find out, then they might be upset. Just as an example, right? I'm not saying they would be upset. Maybe the example's a little crazy. But what you do is you partner with the one that you think is going to make the most sense for you. The largest of the 3 is who you would partner with, right? Somebody that's going to be able to give you a major benefit in terms of customers and sales. Something I've advised people to do that's really worked in the past, and it's something I did myself many, many years ago. I don't like showing up hat in hand. Like if I'm going to go and approach your business to be a partner, am I going to show up and say, hey, give me customers? No, no. What I would do is I would actually show up with one of my customers in the sense of I would go ahead, like say, again, I'm going to go back to the print shop. Say that I have that print shop. I'm going to wait. And I'm not going to approach the print shop right away. I don't have to approach them right away. I have other lanes of business leads coming in, and I have other things going on. What I can do, though, is I can approach that print shop when a graphic design project comes up at my business and I want to outsource it to somebody. Right? When it's a print project, when it's, vehicle wraps, or when it's whatever it is that's specific to that business, I'll go ahead and then I'll go into that print shop. And I'll use the fact that I have a customer to hand to them as a way to go ahead and get them to partner with me, right? Or at least to open the conversation to them partnering with me, because I'm handing them business. I have instant credibility. If I'm handing you a project, done, signed, sealed, delivered, are you going to say, I'm skeptical about you and all this client business? No, they're going to go with you right away. Think long-term. I think long-term thinking is absolutely essential. When it comes to channel partnerships, you need to think in terms of clients that you're going to have for 6 months, 6 years. You need to think in terms of partnerships that are going to last the duration of your business. Don't rush into, a partnership that doesn't make sense. Now, affiliate partners. The difference between affiliate and channel is channel partners have to have a product or service that you in some one way or another can reciprocate, right? The deal, because that's what that is, a reciprocal relationship. Affiliate partner is a little bit different. It's still reciprocal, except you're just giving them money, right? It's like a straight commission almost, right, on the sale. When you have affiliate partnerships, keep in mind one thing. Number one, anyone can be an affiliate. Everyone you meet should be an affiliate. Lots of people should know about your business, that you sell websites, that you sell all these solutions. They should not only know it, they should be all excited and enthusiastic about going ahead and spreading the word about your business. So, you keep business cards on you, broker the deal with everybody. You can't be too greedy when it comes to affiliate partnerships, right? Something that has come up before when it comes to these kinds of things is not offering enough of a commission to inspire people. I remember one gentleman, this is years and years and years ago. He told me he would pay $20 if somebody would get him a deal, right? I remember thinking to myself, is this guy for real? So I went on a webinar and I asked a bunch of people, what do you pay your affiliates? Because I noticed, and I asked, and a bunch of people said, well, I give them between, 15 and 35% of the deal, right? A few people said that. Whole bunch more said something like, I give them $50, I give them $100, I give them $20. And I said, well, who's had their affiliates bring them business? Not one of the people who said $50, $100, $20, or any of these low numbers, not one of them had an affiliate ever yield them a deal. Every single one of the commissioned group did. So I just want to throw it out there in case you're somebody that for one reason or another doesn't see the value in affiliates. They're bringing you free business. You didn't have to pay to generate the leads. You should give them a decent commission. And when they realize that they can make money with you by referring you business, they will refer you much, much more. I promise you. I promise you also, you're not going to get anyone too excited in 2020 about $20. Ideal affiliate types, the people that have personal connections, and they're out there. They're in all walks of life. They're in all different industries. People that have personal connections to people with businesses. We're talking, any of the connections that are possible. Hairdressers, for example, quite often, for whatever reason, people sit in the chair and talk and open up. They have a lot of personal connections to a lot of business people. Barbers, restaurant owners, dental assistants, people in different, it's kind of an eclectic mixed bag who makes the best affiliates. It's not any one business type, and it's not salespeople, right? Salespeople make great salespeople. Doesn't mean they make good affiliate partners. Affiliate partners are their own thing. Keep that in mind. Now, the process of partnering with somebody This is where we get a lot of questions. And I kind of went over this before. It's pretty simple. You find the businesses that you want to approach, or individuals, you find them, then you approach and you close. And it's really just that simple. Find, approach, close. You find them, you decide what kind of partners you want. You build your list, and then you go after your list. You say, okay, well, I'm going to contact this prospective partner, and I'm going to give them an offer. And the offers are going to vary all over the place. Somebody I might do 20% to, another person I might do 25. Somebody else who has immediate business, and they're going to give it to me that day, or something like a contact list or whatever. Maybe I'll give them 30%, of the net profit. I don't know. It all depends. I'm going to do the best I can at that time to get it to close. And then, of course, I'm going to close. And by closing, I'm not putting it in writing. It's not like I have a big written contract. It's just a handshake. That's really all it is. Now we're going to talk about our final topic of the evening, your activities. And I called it Your Activities, Mechanics in Motion. Daily actions. What are you doing every day to advance your business? These are simple questions that we all need to ask ourselves. Everybody needs to ask this who is in this industry and is, founding their own agency. What are you doing every day to advance yourself? Did you go ahead and take my advice, and did you develop a concrete plan that you intend to execute? Do you have a plan in place that's written down? I mean, physically written down, that says, I blank am going to do X, Y, Z, Z, Y, X, and in a list. Do you have a plan? What steps are you going to take tomorrow? Meaning, you should have a concrete idea. Okay, this is my plan, and this is what I do every day. And if you were to ask me, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. And you should be able to just answer all that right off the top of your head, because you should know what exactly it is that you're doing. And this isn't me, getting frustrated with you guys. It's just the truth. You need to, take a good, sober look at what you're doing each and every day to get your business advanced. It's very easy to rest on your laurels and say, well, next week I intend to make some calls. Well, yeah, next week could turn into next month very easily, and you still haven't made calls. You need to get a plan down that is realistic, that allows you to execute on a day-to-day basis. These are just some ideas of some activities, right, that you can be taking daily, weekly, monthly. You can just do this every day. Obtain partnerships, go and find and isolate who your partners are going to be. Call them, try to close them out, try to get some partnerships going on. Knock doors. You can go pound doors. I have pounded thousands of doors in my life. Believe me, I've never had somebody punch me, attack me, let a dog loose on me, pull a gun, try to beat me up, chase me off. I have had some crankier people, get a little upset and tell me to leave. That's about as bad as it ever got. And I did this when I was much younger, but the point is, knocking business doors is nothing. And I knocked residential doors. Business doors, they're happy to see you. It's no big deal. You come in, hey, this is, I'm a web developer. Here's what I do. Here's my business card. Give me a call. Have somebody contact me. I noticed your site's a little screwed up. Very simple, very nonchalant. Not a lot of stress. Not a lot to be worried about. You can attend events. How many of you on this call have looked up the events in your area that you can attend? Home shows, trade shows, different association meetings, group meetings, any kind of business events. Has anybody looked any up? Because you can attend them, and those events can turn into gold mines for you guys. Really, sincerely, they can. Relationship building. Have you gone ahead and hopped on your LinkedIn and added people up that are, in your local area that you think would work out? LinkedIn is very easy to add people to and to grow your list. If I was in business and I had spare time, I'd be building my LinkedIn all the time. Cold calling still works. Have you called anybody? Have you responded to ads where people put ads online, for example, on Craigslist, where they're looking to have sites built? They're looking for a web developer. They're looking for someone to do social media. Have you responded to ads there? Basically, you need to ask yourself, why, if you're not doing this stuff, why aren't you doing this stuff? And be very honest with yourself about why. Okay, is it optimal to do these things? Some of them, yeah, it is. It's definitely not unhealthy for your business. Your business, you can think of like a living thing. It has to eat. It eats sales, and that's what comes in the front end. You need money to come out the back, right? You need this thing to go and make sales, generate money for you. right? Get the thing chugging along, get it moving. That's going to come through your activities. You've got to make it happen. Every day is a chance for you to market your business. Very true. Cold calling works. Door knocking works. Partnership work. Event marketing works. You can comb online. You can look at Craigslist. The venues are out there. If you desperately needed a sale, how many of you can honestly say you couldn't get one? If you needed a sale, if you really had to work, if you put in a very honest 6-7 hour day, I'm not even saying 8 or 10 or 12, just 6 or 7 honest hours of hard work, I think just about anyone on this call could generate a few sales a week that way. Really. Because look, you've got people looking for the services all over Craigslist. You've got partnerships that are waiting to happen. You have salespeople that are waiting to be recruited. You have businesses that would be happy to see your face when you come and you knock on their door and you give them a business card. We've got all the resources for you to print out. The reports are there. You can generate free business listings reports. You can go ahead and utilize them. It's all right there, and it's all there for the taking. Now, last thing I'm going to go over before we take questions is action planning. Plan for your next week to be a success, and it will be, right? Set yourself some realistic goals. Set them ambitious if you want, but set realistic goals. They can be ambitious and realistic. Actions begin in the mind. Very true. That is where action begins. It begins in the mind. When you make the decision that you're going to succeed next week, you're going to succeed next week. Keep all your distractions away. Just shut off the television, lose the remote, uninstall Angry Birds on your phone, throw the Super Nintendo out if that's what your thing is, or whatever, your Sony PlayStation. Keep yourself focused. Business, business, business. Make it a lifestyle. Make it an addiction, right? Put it to paper, have yourself a real plan, and follow and execute that plan. Any of you that are that are either ultra partners or are in Rocket Driver 3.0, any of you guys that need help with business planning, consulting, or just any general, or just would like to book a rap session with me, feel free to fire me off an email to jake@rocketdriver.com. I will make myself available. I don't want any of you guys to ever sit there in silence feeling like you're not getting helped or you're not getting the attention you need to be successful. If there's any stumbling blocks, if you've hit any barriers, let me know. I'd be more than happy to take my time and to give some of it to you to help you out in any way that I possibly can. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Get out there, sell big, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Good night, everybody.